In days of old, when dragons ruled the earth, there lived mortal men who worshipped the beasts as gods. These dragon priests are long since dead, but something has awakened them from their ancient slumber. Dragon priests are powerful, undead creatures usually found at the end of Nordic tombs. They possess remarkable skill and magic, and they command entire armies of ancient Nordic slaves. Their importance is unquestionable when you see their image sculpted in the walls of dungeons. Their power is unrivaled when they possess masks and staffs of incredible power, but their secrets remain hidden no longer. The dragon priests ruled over Skyrim a long time ago, in the time of dragons in the MrRhexx era. You see, the dragons were the dominant force in the world back then, smart and powerful. They held complete control of Anmora. They believed that because of their innate power over mortals, that it was destined for them to rule, that it was their right, their burden. Because of this, they ruled over men, not because they crave it so, but because they must so. They weren't very interested in the politics of ruling, however, so instead of them ruling by themselves, they had their priests rule for them. The dragons would give the priests power, and the priests would rule for them in return. For most of the MrRhexx era, this was the case. Dragons would decree their wants and needs. The dragon priests would listen and enforce these needs upon the people, and the people would obey. Not in a submissive way, but more of a religious way. You see, Nords back then believed in the ancient Nordic pantheon, which represents the gods as 9 animal beings. These gods were the Hawk god, which in this time and era represented who would later on become Kynareth, the divine of the heavens. She was the one who instructed Paarthurnax to teach dragon shouts to humans in order to defeat Alduin. The Snake god, which in this time and era it represented who would later on become Lorkhan, the creator of Nirn. It is not known, however, why it is that they represented him as a snake, which is analogous to betrayal, since the elves were the ones that thought of him as a betrayer, and the humans who thought of him as a creator. The Fox god, which in this time and era it represented the human equation, the human savior, the human champion, an avatar of hope for humans. This role in the pantheon will later be taken by different men who championed the cause for humans, for example, Pilinal Whitestrake, Hans the Fox, and finally, Talos. The Whale god. This god is a representation of Tsun, the Nordic god of trials against adversity. He's the protector of Sovngarde and guards the Whalebone Bridge. The Bear god, which in this time and era it represented who would later on become Stendar, the god of righteous might and merciful forbearance. Interestingly enough, the Nordic people believed that he was the brother of Tsun. The Owl god, which in this time and era it represented who would later on become Julianos, the god of wisdom and logic. The Wolf god, which in this time and era it represented who would later on become Mara, the mother goddess and the goddess of fertility. The Moth god, which in this time and era it represented who would later on become Divella, the goddess of beauty and love. And lastly, the Dragon god, which would obviously represent Akatosh on the newer pantheons, but in this time and era it represented Alduin as the chief deity for the ancient Nords. Because the ancient Nords believed in this pantheon, they saw Alduin as a true god, and hence they accepted his rule and lived in peace. The problem began when Skyrim was discovered and the ancient Nords and cults migrated into the continent. In this new land, the ruling dragon priests that moved over began ruling with an iron fist. They started treating the Nords as slaves and would decree the laws with harsher punishments in less humanitarian ways. This caused the Nords to become harder to contain, which resulted in the dragon priests requiring more power from their dragon overlords to ensure dominion. It is said that the dragon priests would convene in Brumjunar, which was the capital of the dragon cult back then, and it is located in what is now Hjalmar's Hold, in the Labyrinthian. In there, they would discuss ruling strategies and whatnot, but it is there where they were gifted their masks of power by the dragons. It is not known, however, if the masks were named after the dragon priests who wore them, or if the priests took on the name of the masks. But not so long after, the might of the Nords could not be controlled anymore. Rebellion ensued and war breached. We know this event as the Dragon War, which I'll not get into since we already know it from the campaign. Case in point, the Nords and the dragons fought. An Elder Scroll was used and Alduin was sent into a time tear. What happened after that, however, with the dragon priests is very important. You see, it is part of the dragon cult belief system that in case something like this would happen, that the god Alduin would come back from the dead, revive his faithful servants, and ensure a new golden age for the believers. An awesome comeback, if you will. Since the dragon priests, the cultists, and the still faithful ancient Nords believed this, they prepared themselves for the revival. As part of the preparation, the remaining servants buried the dead dragons in huge mounds, and they built incredibly complex tombs for the dragon priests. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. You see, dragons are innately immortal. They can, for all terms and purposes, die, but they can easily be revived again by Alduin, fully regenerated with no perceivable permanent damage. This is, however, not true for humans. It appears that not even Alduin could revive a fully dead human into its original perfect form. All he could bring over would be a degenerated skeleton and zombie-like creatures. So, for the dragon priests to be fully brought back into their original form, an interesting magical ritual had to be performed. The dragon priest would be entombed as if dead, except alive in a deep sleep. His servants would then also be entombed alive as well, except that they would be under an incredible spell. This spell would cause them to wake up every morning, clean the tomb, defend their masters if needed, and give part of their life essence to the sleeping dragon priest. Then after they would do so, the servants would go back into their magically induced sleep. Now, why is this ritual so interesting? Well, this all happened in the Emerthic era, and Skyrim is set in the 4th era, which means this magical energy exchange has been going on for what? 4,000 years? For 4,000 years, the ancient Nords have been waking up every morning and giving their life essence to the dragon priest in order to keep him alive. It is very interesting because this life essence that the ancient Nord servants seem to be tapping from appears to be unlimited. Skyrim scholars have written books about it, noting that the energy simply replenishes itself as the ancient Nords sleep. Nobody knows where it comes from. An unlimited source of energy that replenishes itself every day, going strong for over 4,000 years. Alduin shouldn't have that much power. Hell, not even the divines should have that much power. There is something sinister in here. Hey you guys, I really do hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm so sorry it took so long. If you guys give this video over 5,000 likes, I will do a lore video on the Dragon Priest Kings. There you will find a lot of info about the Dragon War, and even about the creation of Solstheim. And remember to comment on the video for a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card, don't miss it! If you want to give me any lore suggestions, you can reach me at facebook.com/rexar, and for my Let's Play channel, head over to youtube.com/rexplays. Hope to see you all in there.